Well, I guess coming into this camp, we set few goals and what we want to achieve out of this, and I think obviously we didn't win the Brazil Cup, and there's another cup we're looking for, the Tri Nation. So I think we're we really want to get something out of this, so we're working hard towards that, and I'm sure after that win for Argentina last week, there's a you know more chance for us to if we win the next two games, we will be able to win the cup.
Yeah,
Mate, what are you missing at the moment? Being in a bubble, it's probably getting close to that time of year where you might back home to Tonga and see family and do some work around the house we've seen you do in the past and leave banana. Are you missing that opportunity? And are you missing your two dogs back in Brisbane? What's been the hardest part about it?
I haven't been home to Tonga in a few months. So and normally I would go to Tonga every time opportunity to get to go and see my family, and it's really tough because a few things happening there, and I can't go and see them. So I think that's the hardest part is not seeing my family, and obviously my two dogs back in Brisbane, and I'm really really looking forward to spending some time with them. Yeah, but lucky I've got wrong is here. Him and Thor looks the same.
Question for Liam. What did you make of the Pumas back row? It was a pretty impressive night there, Captain Teixeira, and they looked very hungry, I guess, for the ball.
Yeah, they were. They were very passionate. You saw that little exchange in the middle with him and Gus, where he said, I'm playing for my country, and so he wants to give it his everything. And I think that's across the whole team. They've been together for a while now, stuck in isolation and that. So, they're very together, and they got one goal, which is to go out there and play good footy and to win. And they did that well on the weekend. Their back row's quite a big back row. They got some bruising tacklers, and as you saw, Pablo and that are quite good over the ball. So it's going to make for an interesting matchup, and one I think our boys are ready for and looking forward to as well.
The Wallabies have spoken about consistency and being able to back up performances. How hard do you think it's going to be for them to rise to that level again, I guess, after coming off, and also such an emotional win? How do you sort of see that?
I think they'll be well up for it. They're a good team. They're well coached by Mario there. Obviously Czech's had a lot to do with Aussie rugby as well, so he'll have some insight into how to get the boys up. Similarly for us, as Nella said before, we've got that allure of looking for some silverware at the end of this competition, and with their win on the weekend, it makes our goal quite plain and simple, in that we need to beat Argentina in the next two games, and that starts this weekend. So we saw they're going to be pumped up, and as you say, that consistency is a challenge that we're trying to get as well. So we know we need to put the best foot forward.
Do you have any thoughts on Checker and working for the Pumas?
Me?
You? Yeah?
Oh. You go on.
No, not really. I caught up with him after the first Aussie game. Saw him on the sideline there, and he was a good man and a good fella, and so it was good to see them. And interesting seeing him in all blue. I'm not quite sure it's his colour, but it's just good to get footy back and see them do well on the weekend. Makes it a really good challenge for us.
Nelly, why are you laughing, mate? Why is wrong with catching up with Checker tickle your funny bone?
No, because that's Roma's dad before Thorny.
Just following on from that, you often see when players know each other coming up against each other, in Super Rugby, you guys might share a little bit of banter via text or something like that. Do either of you, maybe you, Ron, do you have a relationship where there might be some back and forth with checks this week leading into the game? Or is it different because he's a coach?
Oh, no, not quite. I don't know him that well. I just... So I don't know what Nella's talking about, but he's a good man, but I don't share many texts with Jack at all. It was just good to see him back in Aussie soil and everything after that Aussie game.
Liam, good to see your trend with the beards catching on. Mate, I was just wondering, there seems to be a lot of rotation in the Australian back row, and of course there's going to have to be this weekend with Lockie Swinton out. Do you get much idea? Do you get much heads up that you're going to be playing, or is it all coming down to the last training session basically?
Yeah, I think a lot of it does come down to that. Dave keeps his cards pretty close to his chest, and it's a good way of ensuring that everyone keeps firing at training, and training's a big part of the selection for him and for us as a team. There's a lot of competition in the back row. There's some great athletes and a lot of people fighting for spots, especially now that Issy's come in as well, joined the squad a few weeks ago. So it just makes everyone put their best foot forward at training and just constantly keep fighting, which at the end of the day, whether or not you get the selection, it makes the team a whole lot better.
Did you think that the Pumas put a whole lot of blokes over the ball? Or how do you see them attacking the breakdown?
Yeah, I think they attacked the breakdown quite well. As we know with Argentina, their hookers are actually quite good over the ball as well. Obviously, they had Creevy in the past, and Montoya on the weekend was managed to pilfer as well. So they've essentially got 4 back rowers there who are constantly looking for that ball. Pablo got a lot of pay on the weekend, but their second rows and stuff aim to slow the breakdown as well by dominating those tackles and holding people up. So for us to get quick breakdown ball, we'll have to target their back row definitely, and just make sure we're getting good collisions and winning that contact battle for the carry. Otherwise, it's just going to be a long day. They're going to slow up our ball and makes it hard to get any go forward.
The Springboks have made a tactic of that in the past, holding players up. Did you think? I mean, I know the Pumas didn't get a lot of reward for that, but they certainly were attempting to do it, weren't they? So do you think that Australia needs to be very high, very, very body height?
Yeah, I think that's a tactic that a lot of the teams with those big forward packs like that will use. It's just an easy way to, even if you don't get the return, the turnover, it gives your defensive line a lot of time to set, and that way the next phase they can come forward and smash them again. And it's a continuous cycle like that. So yeah, we're going to be wary of our body height and making sure we're not going in there too high. Otherwise, they'll have a field day on us.
Thanks, mate.
And Liam, you just said continuous cycle. Wayne was right to say that it's been a continual cycle, particularly in 6 jersey. What do you actually think that Dave is really looking for from the 6 jersey?
What he's looking for is just a lot of physicality and impact on the game, which is what we're looking for across the board, really. We're looking for guys to come in and sort of like Swins did in his first 30 minutes and just fly in and rip in. I thought he was really good, until that card and put in a lot of effort and had some really dominant contacts. I think the other main thing for that 6 role is just that set piece. Ned's provided that for us in the past in the first few games against the AVs. And Pete and Will so have as well. So I think shoring up our set piece there, especially against the Argentinians. As Nella mentioned, they're good around their scrum and maul, so that's very important for that 6 jersey as well.
Did you just play in the first Australia A side against the Pumas, or is that right?
Yeah, he was captain.
Yeah, that's right, Mel.
And did you see a lot, like, from that match to the game on the weekend? Like, did they keep their powder dry a bit against you guys? Did you see a lot of similarities? I mean, is Dave sort of looking for the guys who played in that match for some intel, I guess, on how they play, or what you saw from that game?
Yeah, it was definitely helpful playing against them there, and then the team that played against them the second time as well. That's when they had a lot of their European players in, who tended to be quite a lot of their starters in the game on the weekend. So yeah, we're definitely looking at that for footage and just again trying to get ways of their play, because they haven't been able to play a whole lot this year with the whole pandemic and that. So we're looking for any signs into how they're going to play through that stuff, through those Aussie games as well.
Anything else, guys?
Yeah, Taniela, I just wanted to ask you about your role in this team. Are you obviously wanting to start, but are you happy playing that super sub role for now?
Well, I'm just happy to do whatever it's best for the team. You know, if it's me starting or coming off the bench, you know, I'll just make sure I do my job as a prop. And yeah, so it doesn't, you know, obviously there's other front rowers here that haven't got game time, so I can't be complaining sitting on the bench. So yeah, you know, for me it doesn't really matter. So I'll sit on the bench or start. I'll just get out there and do my job.
Anything else? Once,
Yeah,
twice.
hey guys.
Oh, sorry.
There's a lot of noise where I'm at, but I just wanted to ask, you know, thoughts on the All Blacks previous game. Obviously, the All Blacks had a bit of a shocker.
I think the Pumas were just really good. You know, as we said, they were passionate. They came out and just wanted to make a statement. You know, they've had a lot of turmoil in their country this year with the pandemic affecting them a fair bit, and so they went out to represent more than just them and their jersey, and they did them really proud. And you know, I don't think the All Blacks, you know, they'll look back on a few missed chances, but I think a lot of that just came from the Argentinians putting them under pressure and with their game plan, which was well executed, and then they just brought it in the physical collisions and, you know, things like diving on loose balls was really evident there. So I imagine they're going to bring the same against us, and yeah, we're going to take some learnings from that game too and try and apply it this week of training.
Yeah, boys, I'm just going to jump on that one more as well. I think it was Reece Hodge who said that the guys watched it over a barbecue, watched the game. When you were watching the game, what was the actual chat amongst the guys? I'm sure you would have all been impressed, but is there particular things that stood out?
Yeah, it was a really impressive performance. It was, you know, close to, you know, one of the best 80 minutes, and it was just a really good game of rugby. You know, I think it's been a long tour so far, and so for the boys to be able to sit back and be spectators for this weekend and enjoy it over a barbecue and a beer, it was really enjoyable, and it was just a great game of footy. So it was nice to just watch it as fans of rugby, and then you know, come Sunday, Monday, probably rewatched it with a bit more of what we're going to do this week sort of hat on. So you know, the boys were impressed again, good game, but took some good learning.